Hello. I got a little bit of a new vibe going this morning, right? Just wanted to switch it up a little bit. We don't want things to get stale around here. Got to keep it fresh, got to keep it feeling good, right? I hope you guys like that little vibe as we intro in. Hello. Welcome back to another episode, another amazing episode of the Resuscitation Room. I appreciate you all being here. It is our 10th episode. Okay, now we doing something, right? We in our whole 10th episode. Woohoo! Okay, we're going to keep this going for a little while longer before we take a little bit of a break and then resume. But yeah, hello there to my Facebook fam and friends and my Insta fam here. Hello there. And to my LinkedIn peeps, hello. Hi to my YouTubers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is you are tuning in from. Welcome back to another episode. Again, our 10th episode of the Resuscitation Room. This is your weekly dose of business vitality, right? This is your sanctuary. We are breathing life into businesses and legacies on the brink, going from flatline to frontline, right? Flatline to frontline. That's what we're doing over here. It is in this room, y'all, ladies, boss chicks, my feminine, fearless leaders, all of yous, right? My corporate professionals, every last one of you. This is our time to shine. This is our time to bring our businesses and our lives back to life, right? This is where dreams get a second chance, not just to survive, but to thrive. And I just love saying that every single week. It fills my whole entire soul because that's what I'm here to do, right? Is to help you to revive your vision and your dreams, right? In your life. So you already know what to do if you've been following me for a while. You already know what time it is. Before we get into it, grab your drinks, your favorite breakfast beverage, whatever that is for you. I switch it up, right? Sometimes I got something hot. Sometimes I got something cold. But this morning I have something cold because as I shared with you all, and as you can tell, I've been wearing my hair all kinds of ways up and back, but, not so much down these days because it's just been too hot. And so I got something cold to drink today, another flavor of tea with mint in it. It's really good. Another Trader Joe's brand. But cheers, okay, to another episode. Like, listen, pull up a chair, get cozy and comfy on the couch. Let's go ahead, get close to me. Don't forget to come close to me so we can feel each other's energy and really get prepared for this conversation. I hope you have something to write with, okay, because this is your series. This series in particular is your front row seat to turning critical conditions into unparalleled successes, okay? Every week, every single week, we've been peeling back the layers of these conventional success narratives, right? And then just revealing that like hearts pumping, soul stirring truth beneath it all, right? I have been throwing you a lifeline and begging, pleading, urging for you to grab on so I could reel you in, all right? Because I can't jump in, all right? Because I don't know if I can save you that way. We might both drown. I want to save you in this way. So I'm throwing you a lifeline. And I really do want you to grab on, hold on tight so I can reel you in and help you save yourself. Okay, I'm going to give you the skills, the CPR and AED skills that you need to help save your life. We are empowering you in these series to revive your empire and to elevate your life. So again, grab your favorite breakfast beverage. And as you come in, get us something to write with, okay? You know I'm going to be dropping these gems as always, but be sure to hashtag live when you arrive, okay? And if you're catching me on the replay, hashtag replay. Don't be rude. Say hello. Show a sister some love. Let me know you're here. Let me know where it is you're tuning in from so we can have real-time conversation, or I'll be sure to get in the comments if you are watching the replay. But if you've been rocking with me for a while, hashtag true. If you're true to me, if you've been right here, if we've been rocking with each other for a long time and we eye to eye, okay, I feel you. Thank you for being here. Welcome back. If you are new to me, make sure you drop in the comments new or newbie so I'll know you're new. Whichever the case may be, I'll take a moment here to introduce myself, but I want to make sure that we get more people in the room. Okay. So again, let me know where you're tuning in from, but also share this broadcast out to your biz besties, to your entrepreneur entourage, so that we can really get into this conversation today. Okay. I'm going to take a quick sip here. Oh, it's so refreshing. Okay. Well, as I said, hello, hey, hi. Thank you all. Welcome and welcome back. In case we have not met, okay, my name is Katrina Marie, also known as the Boss Chick Biz Coach and your fearless leader. I am a holistic business coach and an RN health and wellness educator. And I teach women, high achieving women, entrepreneurs, and also successful career women, how to build an aligned and profitable online brand and business without sacrificing your soul and sanity or compromising your health and happiness. Okay. And I am not only well qualified, but also uniquely positioned to do this work. And I'm very passionate about it, as I share with you every week. And so, just a quick rundown as to why that is. Not only is it unique to my journey and my story, but also I have the educational background. I have worked in corporate America for a very long time. So, in the tenure of my long career, my over 3 decades to be exact, 2 decades, over 2 decades as a nurse, okay, in a variety of leadership roles for the tenure of my career. I've predominantly been in leadership roles. And then I have some very specialized areas I worked in, like mental health, okay, and that is an area that I have fallen in love with for a number of reasons. And then I have been in the coaching and consulting space, particularly in the online space, for over a decade. And then, of course, there's my own healing journey that I have shared with you. So that's just a very, very quick rundown of my background. And so I say that to say that I am very I intimately know firsthand what it is like to be burnt out at the bedside as a nurse. Okay. And I know what it's like to be battling in the boardrooms as a leader. And I know what it is like to be busy and bogged down at, in business, really, right? Because as a business owner, we are wearing many hats and we are doing all the things and the many hats. That is such an old story. And many of us wear that like a badge of honor because we know no other way, right? I also know what it is like to be taking care of patients as a bedside nurse, particularly women of color, women over 40, women of the LGBTQ plus communities who have ended up in the hospital, unfortunately, because they have experienced a significant amount of stress and burnout. Okay. And oftentimes what we find to be true is that the headaches, the heartaches, the health issues that you, if you fall in this category, may be experiencing or have ever experienced, typically are the symptoms of the hustle, which is why one of the reasons why I have unsubscribed, okay, completely and totally, no qualms here. I have unsubscribed. And also that affects people's home lives, right? And if you are excessively working hard, that too, because that falls in the same realm of hustle culture, okay? Because that's what we're taught, right? Growing up, that's what we're taught to be proud of, is to strive for excellence, is to strive for greatness, right? And that's what we hear. Working hard is supposed to be, as we have learned it, a badge of honor. And so it's disruptive to our home lives. And yes, if you too are experiencing a hostile home environment, then that means you're really in a bad place. So these are the kinds of things that have ended women to admit in the hospital to ER, and ER then admits them to a floor. And a nurse like me, when I was working at the bedside years ago, took care of many women like this. And so these are unique to women, right? These issues that I'm talking about. I cater exclusively to women. So I am talking to women, even though I know there are a few fellas here that have followed me for quite some time. And while I appreciate that, and this can be applicable to you perhaps, but I am solely talking to my ladies, okay? Because we are uniquely challenged in this way, right? We because of our strive, because of our drive, because of the relentless pursuit of our dreams, despite our academic and professional achievements, right? We find ourselves oftentimes with our businesses and our personal lives in a state of distress. And so I want to just kind of drive that message home, because that comes with a significant personal cost, does it not, right? Your relationships are oftentimes faltering or strained, or, demise. Your health might be declining, and so we experience so many things on the downside because of our upside, if that makes sense, right? Because of our strive, because of our climb, and because of the significant heights we do climb, we don't realize how hard the fall might be, right? And often is. And so I just want you to know that I really and truly do understand your pain. I know exactly where it is you're coming from. I have been there, I have done that, and I have had to reclaim and rebuild my life time and time and time and time again in this lifetime. Okay. I have over 5 decades doing this life thing. So I get it. Okay. I get you. I get you. You understand? So that's why I'm saying I am uniquely positioned to do this work, and I am called to do this work, and I am passionate about doing this work for this very reason. It is what drove me to think long and hard about how to create and design a system that would be uniquely designed for women just like you, women that I am called to serve. And that is how I came up with my proprietary system, the Legacy Ladder Framework, which is designed, a lot of designs in there, designed to revive your business and renew your entire life. Okay, this will really get your life together, girl, like for real. Okay. And so, and I have, like I've said, coined this as the AED and CPR of entrepreneurship. It really and truly is. And so it's a work I'm proud of. Okay. And I definitely know that it has been helpful to the clients that I have worked with. And I have quite enjoyed using this as a framework to get you back on track, and to, again, help you to really design the life that you want to live on your terms, not on societal terms or based on societal standards and norms. It's all about what you want and what's right and best for you and what feels good to your soul. Okay, so we are nurturing souls over here, honey. Okay, that's what we're doing. So I'm doing this because this live stream show, because women are really exhausted, tired of the hustle, want to unsubscribe from what they have once subscribed to, and that is hustle culture. They want to be over, and they are over the corporate grind. They are over all the hard, excessive hustle work that we're taught to do in this business world, right? We go from striving for the success and climbing the corporate ladder to working just as hard, if not harder, for ourselves in business. And it's just ludicrous. It's like, when does the work stop? Like, okay, I'm not saying everything's got to come easy, but do we have to work so damn hard to just get to the damn dream? You know what I mean? And so, yeah, we're tired. We are beyond tired. We are exhausted. We're stressed out, and we're burnt the hell out, and period. Okay. And we don't want that life no more. And so it can be very difficult, right? When we are trying to do this juggling dance, this balancing act with our demanding corporate careers, the roles that we play as women, period, right? Be it you are a wife, a significant other, a mother, perhaps a grandmother, depending on, if you are Gen X like me, right? Some of you are grandmothers, some of us are grandmothers or aunties, and, great godparents and that sort of thing, right? Best friends. I mean, whatever role it is that you partake in, on top of your corporate career roles, on top of your, maybe being the breadwinner in your household, you're holding your households down, right? You might have a significant other, or you might have the married life, be in the married life, right? And it's like, okay, I have a lot of hats I'm wearing here, and how am I supposed to shoulder the responsibilities of my household on top of all of this? How am I supposed to, focus on my relationship when I have all these other things going on? And how can I make, these other things and people that are important to me, more important than the other things when I do have to focus my time, attention, efforts, and energy over here too, if I want the business to thrive. Like, it's just a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, whoo, okay, the added pressure of it all. All of this amplifies the challenges, right? So just know that my priority, my obligation for you is to help you to claim a life of peace, pleasure, power, and make bigger profits. And I want you to also feel satisfied by putting your own personal needs first, right? Not having to feel squeezed between success and satisfaction, because that's not the business, right? My job, my role, and my very unique position is for me to help you learn how to put your health, your healing, and your happiness first as a priority. Self-care is the number one priority always, okay? And so that's why I'm doing this work. And that's, I again want to always drive that message home, because it pains me to see that women are out here unnecessarily struggling simply because they don't have the right support system, or they don't necessarily know where it is to turn. And I want you to know that's what I am here for, and that's how I can help. Okay. Now, I want to do just a very quick recap. Again, as you come in, say hello. Let me know you're here and where it is you're tuning in from. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, once more. Last episode, we talked about no being a complete sentence, right? And how to set healthy boundaries in business and life. I think that was the last episode, I'm pretty sure. So if you missed that episode or any previous episodes, be sure to catch the link, and I will make sure we got the link here for you. All right, in the post, as well as we'll pop it up here on the screen a little bit later. But just make sure you go back and catch any previous episodes you missed, especially the kickoff call, because that was all the rave, right? And besides, that really goes deeper into my story and how this all came about. So if you want to hear that, then be sure to go back and catch up with that. And then just watch all the replays that you can watch, then come back, catch up after you catch up, and keep up with what we got going on over here. Okay, so today we are diving into thriving under pressure and turning stress into a powerful ally, which is the name or the title of this live stream. Super exciting, right? Another one of my favorite topics. I think probably most of the topics I talk about, I have to be passionate about, right? But this is truly one of my favorite topics, because we often think about stress in a negative way, right? We talk a lot about stress in a negative way. We don't necessarily know that stress could be a good thing. And so that's why I'm super excited. I'm always thrilled to know, and it gets me like really pumped up and hyped up to like be one of the first, or one of the only, perhaps, talking about a thing in a way that perhaps you may not have heard it, may not have experienced it. And I love for those light bulb moments to happen, those aha moments. Ooh, I never thought of it that way. That was so good. Like, ooh, that was a real gem. I like to do that. I like to do that for you, right? Because, sometimes you can hear the same message again and again and again. But if a certain person puts it in a particular way, sometimes it just clicks for us, right? Sometimes it's like, wow, I never heard it put that way before, but I really do get it now. And you've heard this message time and time again. So we know about stress, we know about working under pressure, but we don't necessarily know that, again, that we can turn this into a powerful ally. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed by stress, if you have ever felt like you didn't know stress can be anything other than a negative thing, you don't even realize that you can turn stress into a strength, then that's what we're going to explore today. We're going to explore the techniques to harness stress as a motivator and to improve resilience and performance. Okay, so again, I'm super excited about getting into depth in this conversation, like really getting into it. And again, be sure you have something to write with so that you can take notes. To my boss chicks, to my feminine fearless leaders, to my lady legacy leaders, to my corporate professionals and leaders, to all of yous, okay? To all of yous. This is the last day, the very last day of July. We are in it, okay? We are past the half year mark. In a minute, in a real hot minute, we're going to be back to saying Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all the things. We're going to be in 2025. I want to help you win in this season. This is your winning season, okay? We've got to make it happen this year. So even though it's the last day in July, I still want to encourage you to continue celebrating independence and freedom as women, right? And especially as women. We have so much to be grateful for, okay? And I want to keep the momentum of freedom and independence going. So don't forget that. Now, let's go ahead and get into the discussion. Again, thriving under pressure, how to turn stress into a powerful ally, while I take another sip. Whew, so good, y'all. So good. Okay. Where should we start? Well, I always like to start with the importance of it, right? But I really do want to I want to discuss the nature of stress. Let's start there. The nature of stress and its common sources in our personal and professional life on a fundamental level, because I want to make sure that we're right here, eye to eye, on the same page. Okay, can we do that? Can we first do that to make sure we're all hearing and seeing and knowing the same information? And that will give us a baseline, right? I know, I think like and talk like a nurse. I can't help it. That's going to give us a baseline, all right? But simply stated, stress is the body's reaction to challenges or change, and it can be caused by both positive and negative experiences. I'm going to say that again, okay? Stress is the body's reaction to challenges or changes, and it can be caused by positive and negative experiences. Okay, every single individual responds to stress differently. That's what makes us individuals, right? Where no two of us are alike, not even twins or triplets or quadruplets. It doesn't matter how many of you came out the womb. Everybody is an individual. We're different. We respond to situations differently than one another, right? So the way one person processes stress in their brain and how their body is affected by it is not identical to another person. Again, not even identical twins. Isn't that fascinating though, when you really think about it? Or is that just the nerd in me, the science in me, the scientist, I guess I could say, in me, right? I love science. And so, for example, like getting laid off from a job, right? Moving to a new city or a new state or even a new country, right? Starting a new business or having a business fail, okay? Because there's truth to both, right? You start a new business doesn't mean you might stay in business. Or you might be striving to, there's that word striving again, to succeed, but then the business ultimately fails, right? Traveling abroad, working in a hostile or toxic work environment, going through a divorce or a marriage, trying to have children for the first time, okay? Death and grievance of a loved one, and redesigning your life, as we talk about here on these episodes, right? In this live stream show series. Redesigning your life and your lifestyle. All of these are life-changing scenarios and are very common sources that can bring on a significant amount of stress. But the way in which each individual deals with or responds to these real life situations, be it personal or financial or work related, will differ greatly, right? Because our coping skills differ. Our coping skills differ. You feel me? Okay, so someone who loses their job and has a drastic change in their financial situation may have an attitude that kind of goes something like, well, listen, I may have lost my job, but at least I have my life, right? I lost my job, but somebody lost their life today. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I have my life. I can get another job. I can get 10 more, 20 more jobs. But those people who didn't wake up, or those people who, passed away or died, those individuals don't get a second chance at life once they're gone. So that might be their attitude towards a situation like that, right? Then there's someone who may lose a job and have the extreme opposite reaction, right? They may start to have suicidal and homicidal thoughts. We've seen it happen, suicidal and homicidal ideations, because they cannot cope with the level of stress that a financial strain will bring. We know it to be true. We've seen it happen, right? I mean, remember those stories that we used to hear about, like, the postal shoot ups? The whole saying, don't go postal, right? That came from people getting into this deranged mode because something like this happened to them. And instead of taking it like the first scenario I just described, the person who remains in gratitude for what they do have, not what they don't, that's not their focus. The other individual gets crazy, gets insane, right? And goes and shoots up everybody or something crazy. So those are extreme levels. And then there's everything else in between. But I wanted to just really make the point, a very strong point, and you get that, right? You know that to be true. So, I have, just to share a couple of quick stories and anecdotes with you, I have worked with other leaders in the workforce who welcome challenges and changes. And they're like, bring it on, okay? Bring it on. I'm ready, let's go. But then there are others who will nearly have a nervous breakdown when they deal with the same levels of stress that leadership comes with. Because it does come with the territory. You're not going to escape that. So if that's what you want to be exempt from, don't go into leadership. I can promise you that. Okay? Because besides our own workloads, we are putting out fires all day and dealing with a lot of different issues. Okay? And so, but those are two different people, right? One who's going to have a nervous breakdown, or one that's going to strive and be like, yep, bring it on. I'm ready. What's next? And so I've also worked with or have taken care of patients who were admitted to the hospital because they thought they were having a heart attack. Okay, they thought they were having a heart attack when in reality, they were having a stress-related panic attack. And they can have similar symptoms. They can feel very similar. You don't know the difference if you've never dealt with that, if you've never felt that kind of pain before. I have been in business with both clients and colleagues who, like me, invite failure as feedback. That's how I utilize failure. I utilize it as feedback. They turn their hot mess into a helpful message. Or they turn a difficult test into a dazzling testimony. Right? That's me. Is that you? Does that describe you? If so, drop yes in the comments. Just type in yes in the comments if it describes you, because I know there are a lot of us out there like that. But then there are those who are the extreme opposite of us, right? And those people, I know many of these people, they find fault in everyone and everything. Everybody's at fault for their failure. They're doing this number, right? This number, not this, looking internally, looking within. Because that would be too close to the truth, wouldn't it? That would mean we've got to do the work and we've got to do something about it now that we identified that we are the problem, not all of these people and all of these things, right? And those people tend to turn their mess, their hot ass mess, into a hefty mistake. They turn a difficult test into a more difficult situation or into a daunting tragedy. That's how they roll. So this just proves in my point and drives my message home right? That everyone handles stress very, very differently. But again, as I said, and since we are talking today about taking stress and turning it into a powerful ally and thriving under pressure, I want to focus some time on the positive sides of stress, not just the negative sides, because that we know we're familiar with the negative sides. We don't need to go there as much. Okay, we could touch on it a little bit, but we mostly right now want to focus on the positive sides of stress because stress can be a motivator and a catalyst for growth. Seriously. How so? Well, it can be a motivator and a catalyst for growth when it pushes you past your comfort zone and positions you to confront the change or the challenge. Stress can be a motivator and a challenge, a motivator and a catalyst for growth when it tests your relentless and commitment to transforming your life. Your readiness level and your commitment to transforming your life. That's when it can be a motivator or a catalyst for growth. It can be a motivator and a catalyst for growth when it reveals to you what your weaknesses are, but also gives you the opportunity to improve. And that's the beautiful thing about stress on the positive side, right? It also can demonstrate how to be resilient in the midst of adversity. And when you learn effective coping skills for dealing with stress, it can be a motivator and a catalyst for growth. Okay, so those are just a few examples, but here are a few more examples on how stress has led to positive outcomes in personal development. Okay, stress can boost your brain power, right? This is really important. Stress may motivate you to succeed. Stress can pressure you to operate at peak performance. Remember, we talked about peak performance not that long ago. In another episode, stress can increase your energy level. Stress can make you so competitive that you are going to aim high to win, right? So competitive enough that you will win. So competitive that you push past the many no's you get until you get a yes. Stress can do that for you. And those are some very positive outcomes. So there is a such thing as positive stress, which another term for it in psychology is eustress. Eustress. That's eustress, eustress. It's a positive type of stress, okay? Versus distress, right? The negative side of stress. You've heard that probably more times than not, right? I don't know that you necessarily have heard about the positive term eustress. So let me know in the comments if this is the first time you've heard of that. And so the reason why this is worth mentioning is because it is really normal. It is a normal physiological and psychological response, right? And both give us options, both of them, right? Both give us options because it gives us the option to solve the problem that's presented to us and to feel a sense of pride for doing just that, even if you fear or lack confidence for doing it. Stress also will give us an option to not deal with it, right? Don't deal with the problem presented or deal with it badly, right? In a bad way, because you lack the confidence, because you lack the coping skills, because you are fearful, and maybe even you don't have the depth to deal with it. Okay. You don't have the depth to deal with it. So let me know if any of that describes you. Does any of that describe you? Guys taking notes? You ladies taking notes? I hope so. I hope so. All right. So what are some techniques you can use to harness stress then? That's a good question. So with the understanding that there is an upside and a downside, right? I want to introduce some practical techniques to harness stress in a way that you can use it to your advantage. So first, we talked about brain power. Let's retrain our brain. Retrain your brain, okay? Retrain your brain, which may seem difficult to do, but it really starts by embracing the shift in your mindset, the mindset that has to happen, the mindset that must happen in order for you to benefit from having a new relationship, not the old relationship, a new relationship with stress, and to take the pressure off of yourself now knowing what you know, right? Now you know you don't need to perceive stress through a negative lens, which can actually be more harmful to your health than perceiving it from a positive lens. Okay. Second, number 2 would be assess your stress. Okay. By asking yourself, what is really going on here? What is really going on? What am I dealing with? How can I better address or deal with the emotions that are coming up for me? Because sometimes we just got to slow down and get in tune and in touch with our feelings and recognize the signs and symptoms that show up so that we can identify it and then dig deeper to what the root cause of it might be. So we want to assess our stress, okay? And then the third thing is to change your energy channel. Change your energy channel, meaning cultivate curiosity about the energy that you are getting from your current situation. And if your vibrational wavelength is not in alignment with how you want to feel, then you got to get into your own mind, okay, and think different thoughts, positive thoughts, uplifting thoughts, thoughts that will evoke the emotions that energetically align or energetically match the mood you want to be in. And you and only you are in control of that. Okay? So again, retrain the brain, assess, train the brain, assess the stress, and change your energy channel. Those are the 3 ways, okay? Train the brain, assess the stress, and change the energy channel, okay? And then I also want to offer you some time management tips and prioritization, because while those are helpful tips that I just gave, I also want you to understand that there is a correlation between stress and time management. And sometimes we don't think of it this way, right? But I want you to think of it in a different way. Like I said, before getting into discussion, I always want to make sure that I am describing things in a way that might really hit home, that might have you change, see it through a new lens, right? My lens, a new perspective, a new angle. If I approach it with a different angle, right? In the way that I teach it and deliver the message. So I'm hoping that what I'm breaking down in this episode is actually doing just that. Let me know if all of this is making sense for you. But the time management and prioritization tips, again, one correlates with the other, right? So I want to briefly talk about this, and simply said, learning how to manage your time and your energy, because remember, we talked about managing your energy more than your time last week. Okay, this time we're going to talk a little bit more about time management, because that is a such thing. But managing your time and your energy is necessary, right? It's necessary for reducing your levels of stress. We also talked about last week practicing saying no and setting healthy boundaries. Just as we discussed last week, listen, it allows some breathing room. It empowers you and it removes unnecessary pressure to always be on. Because that is part of what stresses us out, right? Is that we always got to be on. I want you to give yourself permission to say no. I hope, did you listen to last week's session, last week's episode? If not, please go back and listen to that. That was a really good episode. And I do want to make sure that if you watch the episode and or when you watch the episode, okay, then that you are actually practicing those exercises I gave you towards the end. I gave you some real practical solutions, some real practical tips, strategies, and how to do just that. Okay. If you're not putting that into practice yet, make sure you do. And if you have started, continue that. Okay. Because it does become more natural and it does get easier. So practice saying no. Give yourself permission to set those healthy boundaries and say no. All right. Then I want you to plan your week and organize your schedule in advance. Now, this is going to sound a little crazy, a little insane to some of you, but I actually do. Honest to God, I really and truly do every single year. I probably started this maybe 3 years ago because I didn't do this before. This would have been like overkill for me. But I actually do plan my schedule well in advance. How far in advance? An entire year. I really do. I take one day, maybe two, depend on how much I got going on. I block out time. I literally block out 3 days max. I give myself like 3 days to complete this task. And so I take time to block off like an entire 1 to 2 to 3 days, depending, to just focus on what I got going on or what I will have going on in the new year. Because there's things that I do that I am a very, I'm a spontaneous person. I love spontaneity, but I'm also very structured and I do like routine. It just depends what it is, right? When it comes to how I manage my time and my energy, I like structure. And as I said, structure, strategy, and systems are all a part of the new sexy. Okay. So that's sexy to me when I can have my schedule like just lit, exactly how I need it to be according to my plans. So I plan out for the entire year. And then I scan my schedule on a monthly basis. And as events come up, I plug in those events and those different things going on throughout the year into my calendar. But this way, it allows me to not overcommit myself or to overwhelm myself, to make the spaciousness that I talk so much about, right? And to make self-care my number one priority, which is really, really important to me. It's really important to me. My health, my healing, my happiness is the number one priority. Anything self-care related, number one priority. So I'm not suggesting that you actually go through this entire process of scheduling out an entire year, because you might be thinking, what am I getting ready to put on the calendar for a year? How do I even know what I'm doing a whole year out? Well, if that's not you and it doesn't work for you, you don't need to do that. But my point is that if I can schedule for an entire year out, then it shouldn't be a big deal or a huge task for you to schedule 1 week out at a time. That's why I wanted to preface the conversation by sharing with you what I do. If you want to give it a try and it works for you, great. If you want to scale that back and say, well, I can't do a whole year, but maybe I could do 6 months, or I can't do 6 months, but maybe I could do 3 months or a quarter, right? Maybe I could do a month at a time. Like, I'm going to take it slow and wean my way in to, scheduling out in advance. But I'm just saying, start with at least 1 week, out. Okay. And then set a realistic self-care schedule and then fit around your daily routine, right? Like, work around your daily routine. In other words, like, you always want your schedule to be health promoting. That's what I promote all the time. I don't care what. Listen, it doesn't matter about your career and your business life as much as it matters about your health. Your health has to come first. If you don't take care of you first, you won't have enough of you to take care of other people and other things. You have to come first. Okay? I don't know if I can say that enough times. I want to emphasize that again. You have to come first. That means you're going to be scheduling putting a health promoting schedule into place. And then an effective way to do this is to first, again, within that year's time or month's time or week's time, whatever you decide works for you, okay? It's your life. You design it your way. You do what works for you. I'm doing what works for me. I'm just making suggestions of what you potentially can work yourself up to. So when you schedule ahead, you want to be making sure that you schedule all of your activities that are important to you. Your prayer, your meditation, reading and journaling, breathing exercises, napping if that's important to you, okay? Taking a power nap or what have you, taking a walk, whatever kind of other relaxation activities you might be into, yoga activities perhaps. I don't know, if you got animals, playing with your pets, doing some sort of fun exercise or physical activity, eating healthy meals and snacks to fuel your brain and body, whatever it is for you, put all of that into your schedule first. Like, I never start my day giving it to anybody else before I give it to myself and God. That is first and foremost. I do that religiously each and every day, and I've been doing it for years. And I don't deviate my schedule and my plan and my time and God's time for nobody. I'm not checking the weather. I'm not checking messages. I'm not looking at social media. I'm not scrolling through the feeds. I'm not watching the news. I don't watch the news anyway. I don't watch TV. I'm not, getting on the phone and chit-chatting. I'm not looking at text messages. I'm not doing any of those things until I give the first 3 hours of the top of the morning to me. I get up early intentionally to make that happen. Okay? I am an early riser. I get up early intentionally to make it happen. In fact, earlier than most early birds. I'm an early bird. Okay? And it works for me. And then I start to wean into the day and give it to other people. But I don't start doing I don't check in with my team. I'm not having meetings. I'm not answering calls. I'm not doing any of those things. In fact, I turn off my notifications. I do check really quickly, make sure ain't nobody, died or something crazy happened or there's a crisis going on. Then, I cut that off. Notifications are off until I'm ready to get into my day. So I'm saying for you to do the same and whatever that looks like for you, okay? Then you take the other activities that you have to do, right? Because those are my non-negotiables. So you got to come up with yours. We talked about that last week as well. Then you start to fit those other activities within your schedule around your self-care priorities. And that is how you make health, healing, and happiness, your health, healing, and happiness first. And that should be a non-negotiable, okay? So that you don't end up neglecting your own needs while taking care, again, of everything and everybody else. Because you can get caught up in all of that. And before you know it, you go, where did the day go? Where did the time go? And what did I do for the day that had to do with me? Answer is probably nothing if you don't work it this way. So this is a great stress reducer because it allows you to stay centered under pressure. Okay. And then improving resilience and performance. How are we doing on time? All right. So improving resilience and performance. Building resilience is the same as building your bounce back muscles. Okay. Your bounce back muscles. In order to handle stress more effectively, then we need to participate or practice adapting really well, I would say, in the midst of adversity. Okay. When we face adversity, we have to really utilize our bounce back muscle. We have to practice it. We have to build it up. Because life inevitably comes with trauma, with tragedies, with threats, right? Life also comes with drama and karma and significant sources of stress. Serious health issues, relationship problems, financial hardships, workplace drama, business bottlenecks, career concerns. Listen, if we don't bounce back with our bounce back muscle from these challenging circumstances, we won't grow. We won't develop. We will not evolve. Okay. So we want to practice mindfulness through self-care activities. We want to find positive people and places to reinforce resilience. We want to avoid medicating our pain with negative outlets, okay? Because we cannot put a Band-Aid or a bandage on a wound that is hemorrhaging, especially if it is hemorrhaging internally. That is where the healing part comes in, right? And when I say medicating, I'm not talking about, well, I'm medicating with pills, medicating with illicit drugs, medicating with overeating or undereating, medicating with alcohol or any other substances, right? Medicating with oversexing, medicating with like too much of anything is not a good thing, right? And too little of anything is not a good thing, all depending on what it is we're talking about. But right now I'm talking about over medicating yourself or your pain. We don't want to do that with a negative outlet. Also, use your life purpose for helping others. I talk about this a lot. I used to give you guys a daily dose of vitamin D3, the daily dive discussions. Remember, I was doing that. Well, if you've been following me for a while, I was giving you a dose every morning, every day, 3 times a day sometimes. But what I mean by that is like really just, doing things for others, right? Family members, friends, strangers, helping people, doing good deeds, performing random acts of kindness, contributing to a charity or a worthy cause, a community cause. All of this increases our resilience. And then be inquisitive, right? Always be looking for the value in the valley. Okay, when we are low as we can go, we have hit rock bottom. That's a good place to really reflect, right? What's the lessons to be learned, as we talked about before, as I always talk about? And then the outlook on the other side of whatever your current circumstance is, whatever your predicament is, whatever it is you're going through in this moment of time, know that it is just a moment in time and this too shall pass. Okay. So those are some things to think about. But then I want to also offer you, as we come closer to the top of the hour here, just 3 quick strategies. I'll just give you 3 strategies for maintaining a positive mindset and staying motivated. And these are the things that I practice daily. So this is what I will share with you. And I alluded to one of them just a little bit ago when I was talking about the other things I just gave you right now, which is top of mind and top of the list for me is always and will forever be. Can you guess it? Gratitude, right? Maintaining an attitude of gratitude is always my go-to strategy for combating a negative mindset or any sort of pessimistic or catastrophic thoughts that may sneak up on me, because it happens to the best of us. I'm not perfect, right? I'm not perfect at all, and I don't pretend to be, and I never said I was. Last time I checked, God didn't make any of those, right? He didn't make any perfect people. So I'm certainly no exception. So I go through my own stuff. I get in my own funk too. I get it, but I'm constantly being mindful of my language, of my tongue, of my messaging. I don't find reason to complain. I am constantly thinking about how grateful I am for what I already do have and how so many others are less fortunate, and my situation can be worse, but it isn't. And even though I might not be exactly where I need to be, even though change in life and in business and any aspect of your life is inevitable, we've got to kind of take it and roll with the punches, right? Because it doesn't mean that we're going to be in this place forever. We just have to learn to adapt to the change, whatever that might be. And yes, in the moment, it may look grim. Your light might be dim. It might not be as bright. You might not feel as good. You might be a little bit down about it. But sometimes the way I do it anyways, and I suggest you try it, is a great way to pull yourself out of whatever you're going through is to look at other people's lives who are not so fortunate. And then you'll realize that, here I am complaining about this, but look at them. And even if they were given the same hand that you were dealt with, they would still find gratitude in that. So then what are you really complaining about, right? What are you really complaining about? So find gratitude where you can. Start to look outside of yourself, and then gratitude becomes easier and more of a natural process. Okay, so gratitude. And affirmations, I do this all day, every day. I am nonstop in my head with the affirmations. So always be speaking positivity over your life. Speak it into existence. That is how I am the manifestation queen. Okay. In case you didn't know, in case I've never shared that with you, I am the manifestation queen. Okay. And so listen to affirming and meaningful messages and music that fills your soul, that fills your spirit. Okay. The more you listen to negative commentary, negative messages, negative music, negative talk, hell, you got enough dialogue demons in your brain. You don't need nobody else adding to it. So don't you add to it. You do whatever it's going to take to reaffirm your thoughts. Okay. And speak a new life over yourself every day. And then, of course, intentionality. Okay. That's number 3, intentionality. You can have whatever it is or whomever it is you dream of, desire, and deserve, but you've got to be disciplined, deliberate, and determined to get it, to achieve it, to accomplish it. That means you've got to have purposeful thoughts and actions that align with your values and your goals. And this is what is going to put you in the driver's seat of your life so that you can control your destiny and your destination. Okay? So let me know what, if any, questions or thoughts or feedback or comments or aha moments you had. Share any of your experiences at all, as far as, any experience you've had with managing and harnessing stress. Let me know what resonated with you in this message. Let me know what was your biggest takeaway, your light bulb moment, the one moment that you thought to yourself, I really like that. I really like the way she put that. I really get it now. That clicked for me. Or, I've always heard it this way, but now that gives me a different way to view it, a different lens to look through it. You know what I mean? Now I see things more clearly. I have clarity. Let me know what those are in the comments. Okay. I would love to hear from you. And then be sure again to share this broadcast out. All right. If you haven't already, share this broadcast out. Please, please, and thank you. I want more people to hear the message. I want to get my content in front of more people who really and truly need to hear this message. And if you have gotten value from this or any other episode, or want to go back and watch any of the replays, we will certainly make sure you have the link to do that. But really, what's important is, if you are not where it is you want to be right now and you need help in order to succeed and to get to your next level, live life on your terms, redesign your life, reinvent yourself, whatever it is you choose to do in this phase of your life, at this big old age in your life, right? I want to make sure that whatever stage of business you're in, whatever level you are trying to reach, that you reach out to somebody who can help you get there, even if it isn't me. But if it is me and you like the way, you feel like we vibe off of one another, you like the way I deliver the message, I'm the kind of coach you need, that I give it to you straight, no chaser, but also with lots of love, right? I just don't sugarcoat stuff, but I give it to you straight, no chaser for sure. And I definitely am in your face. I am definitely wanting you to win. And I have a certain way that I communicate to you and to get you to the results. I would love to have a conversation with you. Let's continue the conversation in a holistic strategy session, right? That's an info session that I do on Wednesdays, every single Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time and 7 p.m. Eastern. So hop on in. You do have to, it's free to attend, okay? But I do it as a group instead of one-on-ones. And then that way you can have the opportunity to learn from me. Not a coaching session. It's not a coaching session. I want to be clear about that. But it is a way for me to get to know you, really us to get to know each other, get better acquainted, and for me to find out how I can best support you. with where you are in your journey. You will learn in there in that session. It's about an hour-ish long, okay, depending on how many questions you might have. And I talk about next steps and all of that and different ways that you might be able to work with me, because there's options, girls. There's options, okay? But I'm going to mostly be focused on my 30-day 30-day hybrid group coaching program. It is called the Legacy Leaders Lab. And I'll be talking more about my CPR and AED frameworks, which really makes up my legacy ladder proprietary system that I talked about earlier, which again, as I always say, is truly my secret sauce for my success in getting you winning results again and again and again. Okay. So if you want to learn more about that, then do reserve a spot. I like to keep it small and quaint, an intimate setting, and let's go ahead and continue the conversation. All right. And I will give you more information on that later. I won't go into details right now because we're right at time and I do have a hard stop here. So the other thing is, if you want to get on a one-on-one with me, I'll quickly mention that you can book with me there. If you're like, okay, I'm down for, the group meeting, not a problem. This 30-day program sounds great, but I'd actually like to work with you in a different capacity. Then feel free to hop on a call with me. Or if you just want to have more of an intimate conversation and not so much in an open forum, that's okay too. You can book a one-on-one with me there, okay, on my calendar. Be sure to download a copy of my ebook, The Mindset Mastery, okay, and learn the 5 pillars of entrepreneurial success. Imposter syndrome is truly a scam, okay? You will get a lot of insight and inspiration and a deeper dive into understanding how to take negative situations and turning them into positive experiences, much like we talked about today. So be sure to check that out. And if you would like for me to, or if you would like to book me for your next speaking engagement or event, and if you have interest in collaborating at all, I would love to have an opportunity to speak with you more about that. Feel free to DM me. You can catch me any and everywhere at One Shared Visions. Okay. Well, excuse me, One Shared Vision, that's singular. And the name of my company is Shared Visions by Katois. So just don't worry about that because I don't want to confuse you. One spelled out, O-N-E, shared past tense vision, singular. Okay. On all social media platforms, but definitely the best place to DM me is on Instagram. So as we bring this live stream to a close, thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank you for being here in real time. Thanks for showing up live, taking out time from your busy schedules. If you catch the replay, again, thank you once more. I appreciate you to stop by and see and learn more about how to thrive under pressure and turn success into a powerful ally. All right. Well, that is all I have, ladies. And those of you who are here following me, fellas, but to my ladies, okay, that's all I have today. Join me next week, same time, same place. I'm going to tune out while you tune in. And as always, and until next time, I am wholeheartedly in this journey with you. Bye for now. All right. See you later.